G'day and hello beautiful people, it is Minwell here. Hope you're having a fantastic day, afternoon, evening, night, no matter the time wherever you are. Hope life is treating you well. It is time for the weekly update of Walker Wednesday. This video might be a bit later than usual because I'm a bit behind time, but that's okay. Let's get on with the update. So this week on the Walking Dead Road to Survival, the fact that I remembered the name of the game is a good start. The fact that I remember to sign in daily is a good start, but I'm a little bit annoyed because, you know, my goldfish little memory just sometimes doesn't pay attention. Like I said, the fact that I sign in daily, it's a miracle. You know, I don't know how I managed to do that because for some reason I didn't notice that the rumble of the New Year event there was running out. I just honestly did not notice that, and then the roadmap finished and I wasted the whole time farming the 2022 glasses. Waste of time. Tad annoyed. And so anyway, since this week is all about wasted resources, why not waste some on leveling up the hot trash of Carol? That's my life now. That's me in this game right now, is literally wasting my time and resources because I forget to do something before the timer runs out, because, you know, I can't manage to do anything apparently. I don't know. Anyways, yes, I'm pissed off. Annoyed was not the word. Pissed off is the word, because you spend all that time farming and remember, like I said, I remember to log in daily enough to farm, but I couldn't remember to do the actually... I can't remember my words right now. I couldn't actually remember to do the goddamn roadmap. So I'm pissed off at myself because I wanted all that RNG luck I wasn't gonna get and getting random characters I probably didn't need. But I wanted the chance at that and I ruined it for myself. But anyways, what else did I do other than waste resources on Carol? I upgraded Gregory to his 5-star or tier 5 sort of mythic status, I guess is how you would put it. I also used some of those veteran rings I never have enough of and upgraded my lieutenants to then run out of veteran rings and not be able to upgrade them anymore, which is a typical... Yep. At least I don't waste those resources. Without a timer, definitely not wasting those resources. Apart from that, it was time to move on to the season store. And well, this week, like I said, has been hot garbage and just a pile of trash. And that's exactly what I found in the season store. And, I mean, the Vengeful Healing Kitchen Knife? Garbage. Yeah, don't want it. Waste of time and resources. Who come up with that one? Why put that in there? Anyways, if you're desperate, why not buy it? Just don't buy it. Yeah, don't buy it. Herschel's Vital Rifle. Now, this one might actually come in handy if you're in a blue world. So if you're running a lot of toughs, or that is predominantly the team that you're running, might come in handy, might be good, probably could craft a better weapon. Yep. So, you know, like I said, it's been a fantastic week on this game. It's an absolutely fantastic week. Moving on to better things for this week. A game that didn't cost me resources and progression because I was utterly just brain dead and forgot what I was doing. When it comes to the Walking Dead Survivors this week, it was actually a pretty fairly big leap in the game and in my progression, I think, and it's the one that brought me the most excitement and joy for the week after having just muffed it on the other game. At least on this one I could make up for it. We start off things with the elite level to tier 5. I finally moved that up, or is it called tier? I don't know, but it's elite 5 now. If I'm close enough that I can use some gems to level up the elite level, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm not going to just bog myself down waiting for those extra few points. So that's what I ended up doing and moved up the elite level. Now, like I said, a very big week because finally started the upgrade to Town Hall level 16, which is bigger things to come. Of course, the thing I was most excited about and have been most excited about is tier 5, or I'm wrong there, tier 6 fighters. I've currently got tier 5 fighters, but I really want those tier 6 fighters. It's going to be a fairly good leap in my team and what their overall power rating is. I tried to be a bit more efficient this week with the Town Hall upgrade, and I upgraded it even whilst other buildings were still upgrading, but of course those other buildings would be finished before the Town Hall, so it was just the most efficient way I could see. It was just good timing essentially. Also was lucky enough to finally get a trio of 3, so yes, all 3 of my formations now have 3 players in it, or a trio like I said, so getting that extra power rating. They're all fairly strong right now, and I'm really happy about that. I really wanted my 3rd formation to have that trio in there, just because it was a bit weak where I was having to even about certain things I was saying.
Won't let you down.
Now I don't really need to worry about it because the gap is much closer to what my 2nd formation is. Now my 1st formation is beyond ridiculous. At the moment there's a huge gap between the 2nd and 3rd, but the 2nd and 3rd are close. So I know if the 2nd can do it, the 3rd can pretty much do it, which is why I really wanted that trio. After the long wait to level up the Town Hall, I got to play Tetris with the gun shop and the tower defense. It's starting to get a bit harder now. I could spread this out and make it look nice with roads, but I really don't like having to constantly slide it over because obviously I play with the mouse. It's really annoying having to slide and drag down and up the screen to get things. So I like having it in those 2 little squares just because it's easy and I don't have to do too much movements to get to the building. But I do have to play Tetris to make it look semi-organized to satisfy that OCD part of me. And this is pretty much what's happening. It's moving out of those little square boundaries which the game sort of has imprinted on the ground there. So eventually I probably will use roads to level it out, so I'm semi-happy about it. But for now it's looking okay. I'm completely happy. This time around it was a bit different. Like I said, the main objective was trying to get those tier 6 fighters. So usually I would upgrade my war, and then I'd go my townhouses, and then I would go my training grounds, and then formations and so forth. This time around I wanted to do it a bit different because like I said, I had those tier 6 fighters. That was the main objective and that's what I wanted. So this time around I went straight into the training grounds. I started with melee one, and then it is the ranged one, so your shooters, and then the cavalry. So pretty much I just went along in line and leveled them up accordingly, but I usually don't start with the training grounds. But I was really excited for tier 6 fighters, and it does take over a day for it to actually level up without speed, so I thought I'd get those out of the way first, and then I moved on to my formations. They were the second thing I was focusing on. Once again, a bit of a duration with the leveling. Definitely after level 14, your progress and speed of actually leveling comes to a halt. That's what I've noticed. So now things are really slow. You're looking at 9 hours minimum for upgrading things. You know, between 9 and 13 hours is the average time for buildings. And then for big buildings like training grounds, formations, you're looking at 1 day plus. So I guess that's the nature of the game. The higher level you get, the longer it's going to take to actually level things up and progress. Basically for my war, I did then move on to the war. I don't ever lose track of wanting to have my war at the maximum level, just so I've got those extra attributes of defense, attack and so forth if someone does decide to attack me. And that was, this time around it was the wells, so the water supply you had to upgrade first. Sometimes it's the food, sometimes it can be the lumber. This time around it was the water supply, so I had to upgrade my well, then my storage in the tower, or the water tower I should say, and then I upgraded the wall there. So a bit of a different sort of pattern to how I upgrade, but I can't say either which way is more effective or efficient, you know, doing the houses first or not doing the houses. Doesn't really matter. I just needed tier 6 fighters more than I needed those extra leveling of the overall group of fighters. I guess that's how you would put it. But apart from that, the other big news was when it came to the forging. So now, like I said, I have the 3 trios of formations now. So I really wanted weapons for them. And I really wanted my first formation to be completely decked out. So I wanted them to have the jackets, so the headwear with your hats. I wanted them to have the glasses. I wanted them to have the weapons. So I wanted them to be completely decked out. And that's what I pretty much end up doing with my first formation. I decked them out and I made sure that everyone now has a weapon and at least glasses. So everyone in my 3 formations has at least weapons and glasses, and then some have the extra other 2. But I'm pretty happy with that because that's what was the main goal was to get my first formation decked out, and I ended up doing that. It was pretty nice in the end. But other than the weapons and protective clothing and so forth, the other things that these guys also needed was to have their wheels or their ride upgraded more. So we moved on with the carriage. I got the carriage up to level 15 so that it has a better gathering speed essentially, so that's pretty nice. And then I upgraded some of the attack and defense sort of attributes in the exterior sort of sector of things. So like I was saying earlier with the construction time, it's definitely increased. Like the duration you have to actually wait for your buildings has increased. And you have to use more speed ups if you want things done quicker. So I had the opportunity, if I actually got enough Sarah fragments, to unlock another builder. So I was able to have another construction sort of building if I wanted it, because I had that builder. I have a fairly good reduction when it comes to speed with my builders. I get around an hour and 50 minutes off, so that's fairly well. But I wanted to increase that, so that's what it is maximum now with Sarah, added as a 5th builder. So there was a little special going where you could get an extra building or an extra construction sort of shed for $1.49 or whatever it was. And now that I had Sarah, another builder I could put in there, it was worth it. And I have her completely decked out like the rest of my building team with all the bonus speeds that you actually can get from forging your items. So they are all decked out with that. Like I said, I get almost 2 hours off my building time now with 5 of those builders. So that was pretty much all that happened this week. Like, I didn't do a ton and actually upgrade a lot, but the most exciting part was the tier 6 fighters. Finally, I'll be able to get close to, I reckon, that 500,000 sort of K mark when it comes to my power rating. I eventually will look at forging better weapons, but right now I'd rather all my players have more weapons, so more of the actual formations have weapons rather than having higher weapons. I only feel that's necessary once you deck everyone out, and then you can worry about upgrading those weapons. Moving on to the third and final game, Days After. Now with this one, it was day 9 in the quest for the diary, or day 9 in the diary with all the quests. What I wanted to do, the 2 easiest ones I could see straight off the bat, was to upgrade the garden bed and then the durable jacket that could be crafted. Now when it comes to the iron hammer, which is the first one, I unfortunately would need more XP to even be able to craft the iron hammer, and that is level 34, so I'll have to do some sort of foraging or farming and go out and actually do that and get a bit more XP before I can do that first one. But durable jacket I can craft pretty easily right now, and upgrade the garden bed. It does need a bit of resources, though I've got enough of all of those resources, but I can fortunately craft 2 of the resources, which is the cloth and the planks, which is something I always replace. So if I'm using a lot of the cloth and the planks when it comes to upgrading something and it's well towards near the 20 sort of range of quantity, then I'm always going to craft and try and replace those, or just make sure I'm always topped up. Now I have plenty of them, but I always just like to do that and replace them every time I upgrade something, so I'm always accumulating stuff rather than losing stuff. I pretty much try and do that with most things. When it comes to, you know, killing Merv and things like that, that's just going to be basic daily sort of farming that's going to get that done. There's not too much I can really do to speed that up. I just need to keep going out. I can go to maps which have him more apparent in it, but yeah, that's just going to be basic farming and killing zombie stuff. The copper scrap is mostly found at the bridge currently where I farm constantly. When it is up to go anyway, so that will be the best place to try and get that. I imagine that one might be a slow one. Some of the places where that spawns in the most, it's actually, they're a bit too high difficult level for me right now. Once I can get the weaponry that's a bit higher, then I should be fine. So essentially all it's going to be is a bit of crafting, and then I'm going to have to go out and do some farming and try and build up that XP to get to the next level so that I can craft that iron hammer, but also the axe, which is going to be good if I want to go to places like the mine, which are a bit higher difficulty. But I'm starting to accumulate some 3-star weapons, so I should be able to do a few runs in the mine. But right now it's not really useful for me because I don't have that hammer and axe, so I can't actually farm those items that are there, the trees, the oak tree and so forth. So there's no point me even venturing out there and near dying just to get, you know, a few resources where I can get elsewhere with a lower difficult level. Moving on to sort of the home decor, at the moment I'm starting to get a bit full with some of my crates. So what I want to do is actually craft up some chests and then replace them with the crates, because I get that extra line when I go to the chests, and I have plenty of resources like I said, and I'm constantly replenishing those resources that I am using, so might as well just go ahead and craft some chests. The ones which I'm going to replace for now will be the clay one, so all the stuff with the clay in it, my scrapped one, because I'm starting to put some of the scraps sort of things in other crates, so I don't want that. The paper one, because I'm starting to accumulate a lot of research blueprints that I've already done, so I don't necessarily always go to, you know, the floating forge. I shouldn't really call it a floating forge, but I don't always go near the floating city to actually trade them in, so I just need more room so I can sort of start accumulating them a bit more, and then I'll take them all to trade in when I've got a lot of them. And of course food, I'm starting to get a bit packed on the food, so we need to do that. With the leftover crates, I would look at using them, definitely weapons parts, I will split those up. So I'll sort of have 2 weapons crates, but for when I do overcraft the weapons and I've got a bit extra, that they won't fit in that first one, but it is predominantly meant for the weapons parts. But if weapons end up in there, I'm not going to be too upset about that, if I'm completely honest. And then I want to also make another one that is for the berry tea, quite possibly. Anyways, I'll go through and organize all that sort of stuff, but they were the main sort of objectives for the week. It was basically trying to finish the day 9 quests, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't play this game very much, so I really only got a few days of actually trying to get this in, but I got a few of them done, which is a good effort, I would say. But as always, I hope you did enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Always remember how awesome you are. Bye!
Chase a light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadow.